I've totally been planting out container after container after container after container, and I have totally enjoyed myself. And I am one that believe I am totally not going to let a freeze or threat of a freeze or threat of a frost stop my show. Absolutely won't. I'm going to show you how I prepare for freeze warnings and things of that nature when we're already well into our spring display, and hopes that it'll help you in your garden. First, we're going to start, and I'll show you how I prepare for my evergreen trees. So let's head over here, and I'll show you a little garden field too when we get over there. Come on. For the next 2 nights, temperatures are supposed to be dropping down below freezing. I think one night they're saying that we're supposed to drop down to 20, and the other night is going to be like 32, 34. So I'm going to show you how I prep my garden when I've already started planting, because oftentimes I start planting in January. No lie, if you guys know, you know. If you have been following me for a very long time, you know that I get outside and I plant in my garden as soon as possible. And it's evidence, okay? And I walk you through and show you what happens to your plants, But those plants are more cold hardy than some of the plants that I have out right now. For example, I have hydrangeas that's out. I have begonias, and if you know, then you know. Begonias can take a little bit more cold than we give them credit for, but down to 20 degrees, that's what it's supposed to be tomorrow, I don't even chance that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to, one, water in any of my trees that are large like this. And the point of watering them in is because, one, you don't want them to freeze dry. And it's going to probably get low for about 5 to 6 hours. So I'm going to walk you through how I prepare for my garden when I know that we have some weather that's going to drop down, so like a late cold snap. And that's what I would kind of consider this to be. Now, typically in the St. Louis region, April is getting a little bit late for us to be having temperatures dipping down low, but we've also had snow in April before. So I just call it my bipolar weather, and I just roll with the punches. I have some buckets here from a winter sowing fail, if you will, in the way of inconvenience. And what I mean, let me just show you. In this bucket here, I was doing a little bit of winter sowing, but we ended up being away from home for an extended amount of time, and I had nobody to come out here and put the lid off and on. So what we're going to do, we are going to take this water and we're going to put it inside of this container and this container right here. And we're also going to use this water as well, because it's rainwater, so really it's the best water. So that's what we're going to do, and then we're going to just evacuate these containers from over here in this area. a lot of these plastic containers here, so I'll show you what I do, and this will work for you even if you don't have a greenhouse here. And what we'll do from there is we'll head to Lowe's, because I also have to pick up some supplies, and the supplies that we're going to pick up is really going to be the secret to make sure your plants keep that warmth. We're going to start off here, and I'm going to take my case, and it's going to become an instant greenhouse. I am going to dry it out a bit. All right, so now I'm going to take my container and I'm going to put it on the inside here. Just like that. I totally forgot the lid. Now over here, this is where you can find the RAM board. So what I like to do is, versus going around to different stores trying to get cardboard, I go ahead and I just buy the RAM board. Or you can technically use bags. I just find that the RAM board is a thicker material. You see how thick that is? So I like to go with that. Now it does come in different sizes. So you have, so it's 3.16 feet by 100 feet for 70 bucks. So it is a little bit on the expensive side. And they have it in different sizes. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go with the big one. And this should be enough to get us through the area that we need it for. And just to have some on hand. So we'll go ahead and get this one. Now let's get a cart. Here's a cart right here. I kind of like to get the ones with the flatbed versus the other ones because they just rock so much. Alright, so we have 2 bags of these Hot Hands hand warmers, and it's 10 pair for $10 or so. So here we are, and these should last for, let's see, how many hours? 10 hours. So we have our Hot Hands here, and so we're going to be using this, and I'm going to show you how. Let's start prepping our first container. I doubled my frost cloth here. It makes it thicker, so therefore we're going to get more heat. Now, this is basically a twofer because you get 2 packs, but you'll technically only need 1. Let's get this open. Usually there's a split. Here it is. And you're going to shake to activate. So I'm just going to lay it down on my flat surface here, and then I'll use my bricks to weigh everything down. because if the wind blows up your frost protection, then none of this matters. And you don't want to wrap anything tight because you don't want to smush down your plants. If you have the capability to lift your container up and bring it on the inside, by all means do so. Now, for the concrete containers, they are heavy, especially that larger one. So I just left that in its place. This terracotta pot, I am going to be bringing this on the inside with me. And then for the smaller one, I'll show you what we'll do with that one. So let's take this one in. Some of the plants that you want to consider covering up to make sure you don't have any damage. One is going to be your hostas. If your hostas are starting to come up, go ahead and just cover them with a frost cloth or freeze cloth. If you don't have any on hand and you know in advance, typically Amazon will deliver your frost cloths and or freeze cloths quickly, sometimes within the same day. In the event that you can't get any frost cloth, any type of freeze cloths, use blankets. You can throw them in the washer afterwards. One of the things that you can do is you can go to antique or thrift stores, get old blankets and things of that nature, and use them in the event that you don't want to spend that excess money on freeze or frost cloth. So that's something that you can have stored away when you need to use them. And if you don't want to go through the trouble of buying frost cloth or the added expense, you can always pop the plants right out of the container and then plant them up at a later time. So if you end up running out, I've done that before. I had so many things that I had to cover. I ran out of space. I took the container apart, and when the danger of frost was over or freeze was over, I brought them out the next day and planted them up. That way it's going to save your wallet. Or you can take the risk and see if it's going to kill them. And I've done that also. That's how I know, like, certain plants, you really can play a little bit more to where I didn't have time, or I was out of town or out of state, so I couldn't make it back in enough time. So when I got back, oh, okay, so this one will tolerate. This is the behavior afterwards. I'm telling you, experience sometimes will be the best teacher, because every garden is going to have a microclimate. Drop down in the comment box, because I totally would love to know, have you even started planting in your garden, or are you waiting until the danger of frost and freeze has completely been eliminated as a risk in your garden? And if you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. We would totally love for you to join us over here on Garden Queen. I'm going to go outside and finish covering all of these containers, honey, because y'all know I've been planting. Y'all know I've been planting. I just got an alert on my phone, and I'm glad I came out here because my frost cloth on these hydrangeas flew off. I'm not sure where it's at, but I can already see a little bit of the damage. So since I don't want to take a chance, what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and just pull out this entire arrangement here, and then I'll just have to put it back together. But I would rather put more work on myself than go through the expense of having to replace this container. I feel like I have been thrown back into time. When I tell you that I was out here for hours pulling my containers, because I am serious about my show. I am so serious. So if I would have left everything in place, and let's say the frost would have took it or damaged it, it would have took quite some time for them to bounce back, my containers that is, to bounce back. Just wasn't interested in playing with that, so I went ahead and I pulled everything. But I think it'll be helpful to show you some of the examples of what the containers look like using the different methods that I use in order to protect my show from frost or freeze. Now, the most foolproof way is going to be, one, either wait till the danger of frost is gone, frost or freeze is gone, and with doing that you will end up losing some of your planting time. I'm not interested in that, but I'm also not afraid to take drastic measures like come in and pull out the entire container. Now these two containers were not planted up, but the ones here, my hydrangea trees, were underplanted, ever so gorgeous. But I wasn't afraid to come in and pull them out because I know I can get the look back. So what we'll do, we'll start on the back patio and I'll show you what everything is looking like. I'll also give you some examples of the beds as well, because not everything I covered, and the things that I didn't cover were the plants that are more cold tolerant, more hardy versus your fragile hydrangeas, your begonias, if you will, because I'm just not willing to risk my show. Not like that. Not like that. Now, if I was getting ready to flip everything over, then fine. If the freeze or frost takes it, then it takes it. Now, for the containers that are close to being swapped out again, I didn't even bother with covering those up. And in fact, one of my good friends, she came over. She was supposed to get one frost cloth, one freeze cloth. Just one. She said she needed one. She took one of the entire baggies that I keep my cloths in, and therefore it limited the amount that I was able to cover. So definitely going to have to go get my freeze and frost cloth back from her. I'm not sure why she did it. And she also took the baggie that had my clips in it. So I had to, I'll show you when we get back there. We'll start off on the back patio. I'm just going to show you a couple of the areas, so that way it'll give you a visualization of what I did and what I didn't cover, because one thing I like to do over here on my channel, I'm not afraid to show you when I fail. I'm not afraid to show and take you behind the scenes, because it shows you my true, authentic experience. And that's what I want here over on my channel. I don't have time to cook the books, baby. My life is my life. I'm inviting you all in with hopes that I can help you save a coin or two and show you that you don't have to spend a ton of money to get the show. So if I can do that, that's what I'm willing to do. So we'll go ahead and I'll start showing you around different areas and just showing you what I do. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with the patio. We're going to start off right here. I am going to open this up. I should have came out earlier in the day to open it up, but it was cold for most of the day. Now, the burn that we have here was already there on those hydrangeas. It's just more pronounced. And so what I'll do, I'll go ahead, let this get some more air. I'll pop this one out, or you can just come in and just take that off. But remember, the night before, I did not protect any of my flowers. So I went ahead, left them where they were at. And so this is what we're looking like. So I'll leave the lid off, and then when night falls, is supposed to drop down low again tonight, I'll come back and replace those. We did go ahead and wrap these 2 containers. I could not find my clip, so baby, did not use a hair clip by any means necessary. So these will stay on here. The frost cloths will stay on here until about tomorrow, maybe midday. I'll come in and I'll pull everything off then, because then we'll be out of the danger of frost for now. Now these containers right here, they did not get covered at all. So they were left to the elements, but my more gentle type of foliage, those are the ones that I focused on covering. The ones that are close to being changed out, I don't worry about covering those. I left this bed covered because I have my hostas in there, but then here is this container and what this looks like. So I'll go back in and I'll put some more hot packs in tonight, but we'll cover that back up because we want to keep as much heat as we can in. Did not cover up anything in this bed because everything here is pretty hardy. So I left all of this exposed to the elements. My hydrangeas on the other end, I went ahead and just popped them right on out of the container. As well as for my containers here, I also popped out the hydrangeas. So this is where we're going to end right here. So here is the final planter where I pulled everything out. I just was not willing to take the chance with the hydrangeas and as well as the polka dot plant, because your polka dot plants, they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, but as far as temperatures, they can be, I just don't want to take the chance. They bounce back quick, but I would rather just pull my entire show. I knew my hydrangeas would be fine. So this is my final container. Drop down in the comment box and let me know what's going on in your garden. Did you get hit with the freeze? We're supposed to have one more night where it kind of dips down into the 30s and then we're smooth sailing from there on. I would totally love to hear from you.